Hi, everyone. My name is Christian Carlson, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to the January edition of Esri's State and Local Government Connect webinar series. Today, we're going to, me and my colleagues and I are going to talk to you about ArcGIS Solutions, and very specifically, we're going to talk to you about what is new in the most recent release of our solutions portfolio and the road ahead. So I'll take a few seconds here to introduce our team. So my name again is Christian Carlson. I'm the director of Esri State and Local Government Sector. And with me is Scott Ottman and Chris Fox. Scott runs our entire solutions effort. He has a huge team that is dedicated to building and supporting our solutions, our maps and apps that support a variety of sectors and industries. And with Scott today is Chris Fox. Chris leads our government solutions effort. So the three of us will combine to sort of give you a taste of what we have today and what we have coming in the near future. And so just to get this kicked off and get it over to Scott and Chris, I'll talk to you a little bit about this program and how it's sort of manifested over the past decade or so. About 10 years ago, we started this effort to build out solutions that map to the common workflows and capabilities that our customers use the ArcGIS platform for in government. The idea here was to is to actually include these solution capabilities with the platform. So if you're an ArcGIS user, you don't just get generic capabilities of the platform, you get a whole portfolio of domain-specific solutions that you can quickly, easily, and sustainably implement within your organization. So this team works directly with government users to define repeatable workflows and implementation patterns within their domain. We then take that work, we co-create these solutions that we then make available to you. What we've seen from our user community is rapid adoption, broader adoption across a collection of domains within an organization, more sustainable implementations where we're not having to worry about being rev locked or being stuck into custom applications that make it difficult for new technology to be adopted. And we're just seeing overall value that's added within the local government landscape and community and using the ArcGIS platform. And so our objective is just to continue that initiative and mission. And we are constantly improving, supporting, enhancing the existing solutions, but we're also adding new capabilities, solutions, and workflows to that portfolio over time. And so hopefully you'll get a taste of what we're doing there in the current and near term going forward. So with no further ado, I'll pass it over to Scott and Chris, and they'll give you a tour of what you can take advantage of today.
Thanks, Christian, and thank you to everyone joining us today. I want to start with a little bit of context and just make sure everyone understands what we're doing with ArcGIS Solutions and the capabilities that we deliver. So let me just start with just a broad generalization and a broad definition of what ArcGIS Solutions is. As Christian mentioned, ArcGIS is more than just the generic software capabilities we deliver in our products like ArcGIS Pro, ArcGIS Enterprise, and even ArcGIS Online. ArcGIS includes a whole series of solutions that align with your business needs. They transform your use of ArcGIS, and they really help you maximize the investment you're making in location-based data and technology. Now, these industry-specific configurations of ArcGIS are really designed to help you do a few key things: improve operations, provide new insight, and even enhance services you deliver to your stakeholders. One of the great things about ArcGIS Solutions is they come with the software. They're part of your ArcGIS subscription, and you can deploy them in minutes so you can get them up and running quickly in your organization to address new needs or maybe to expand your reach into new operating departments, as Christian mentioned earlier. So they come with your ArcGIS Online subscription, and they're also delivered with your ArcGIS Enterprise installation so you can deploy them behind your firewall or on infrastructure that you manage in your organization. So our mission as a team is quite clear. We really want to help you leverage the investment you're making in ArcGIS and deploy a series of location-based workflows that address those business needs. As we help you leverage that investment in ArcGIS, we want to provide you a standard roadmap for capabilities so you can then clearly understand how GIS and location-based data can be applied to key missions within your organization. And as you're doing that, improve service delivery and expand reach. We talked a little bit about the legacy technology earlier. That is one of the critical things we do with ArcGIS Solutions. We maintain them. with each subsequent release of ArcGIS, so you don't have to worry about the technical debt that accumulates when you develop your own applications on top of our technology. And one of the great things and very humbling things about the work we do is we get to work collaboratively with the community. We like to say this is a very participatory sport. And through that participation, we incorporate best practices into the solutions we deliver and industry tradecraft, and we use the community to help drive the offerings we have and the capabilities within each of those ArcGIS solutions. So today there's probably more than 100, maybe 120 different solutions that are available for the state and local government market. And we obviously don't have time to go through all of them today, but if I were to boil them down into some key capabilities, we're really focused in on helping organizations manage their location-based data. One of the most fundamental things that state and local governments do with GIS technology, manage those authoritative data sets, asset inventories, and other key pieces of information that you then syndicate and share throughout your organization and use in applications you deliver to internal and external stakeholders. You'll find some of our solutions are also really help you understand community condition and create new understanding, perform analytical workflows like crime analysis and neighborhood early warning, or even some of the work we've done for utilities to help understand why water, maybe where you may have leaks in the system during the night. You'll find a lot of the solutions are also operational systems. They're a collection of maps and apps that are designed to address comprehensive workflows and to really provide key stakeholders inside your organization the right information products to conduct field workflows or maybe understand operational awareness. And that's a really critical part. They're all designed to work together in this case and provide that kind of operational system to address key business needs or key workflows. And the last couple areas, right, are near and dear to many of our hearts, right? We want to help you visualize operational and strategic performance, and even engage the public, which obviously in the state and local government market is one of the most critical things we do. That everything from just being transparent with the information we manage and share to engaging the public as a sensor, or maybe even enlisting volunteers in your community to help with key workflows like cleaning catch basins or cleaning hydrants after a major snowstorm. So last year was a pretty big year for solutions. We have a whole host of new offerings that were released. Probably we had 3 to 4 different releases last year. And if I were to kind of break them down by season, what you'll find is we started 2021 with a whole host of solutions that help state and local government communities understand kind of risks in the community. So that could be coming from traffic hazards and crashes on your transportation network, to maybe where hazardous materials are in buildings that could impact fire response activities. We also developed a set of asset inventory solutions for those that manage underground assets in their community, and finally started to help our communities with a series of economic development applications, roll out inclusion programs, and even business recovery programs as the pandemic ebb and flows in your community. This summer, we were really focused on providing a set of capabilities, or last summer, I should say, we were focused on a set of capabilities that helped you with disaster response, conduct damage assessments, maybe after a major storm comes through your community or a natural hazard impacts your community, conduct debris operations that are required to recover from that natural hazard or incident. And the other thing we released is for those kind of man-made hazards, you'll see a new solution to help community understand the extent in which lead service lines are present in their community and how you can mitigate and begin to plan for the removal of that risk in your community. And so those solutions were really designed around what I would call kind of a responding to natural hazards or disasters or even risks in your community. And then this fall, with a series of releases, we really went further into the asset management workflows and developed a set of solutions to really help you inventory both underground and above ground assets, and begin to then respond to other emerging issues or issues that you're dealing with in your community, like the opiate epidemic or maybe social equity in your community. And so you'll see with each subsequent release, we're adding new capabilities to the ArcGIS solution stack, and we're also maintaining those solutions and providing updates based on the feedback that you give us throughout the community. So it'd be really tough for us today to really show you all of the work that's new in 2021, but we do want to give you a glimpse of several of the key solutions we worked on in 21 and show you some of them. And I'm going to start with a new solution we released last fall called social equity analysis. And there are many communities that are really dealing with social equity or racial inequities in their community. And what social equity does is tries to aim at to understand how systems within your community negatively affect certain groups and attempts to level the playing field by making investments that are aligned with the severity of those needs. And there are many government agencies that are making a commitment to social equity and seeking interventions or policy changes as a result. To begin their journey, though, what every community needs is they need to understand the patterns, the conditions, and the outcomes that various social groups are experiencing and how organizational actions impact those access or needs. And so the social equity analysis solution is really designed to help you do those key things, to really understand and evaluate community conditions and actions, and then measure progress over time. What you'll see is that this is a series of analytical workflows within our desktop product called ArcGIS Pro that allows equity officers or data scientists or analysts within your community to produce equity indexes. And it can be used to really identify and understand focused community characteristics or demographic information, and then analyze community conditions and actions by aggregating them and comparing them to those community characteristics. The result of these outputs typically are a social equity index for your community. And you can share that index with public and private stakeholders, and you can use it to evaluate progress as you measure conditions like access to a certain service or assets in your community like sidewalk improvements or capital improvements you're making in your community. So the results, as I mentioned, are typically shared in these equity indexes, and you can embed them on public websites or use them to kind of discuss policy changes in your community. And you have the flexibility with this solution to evaluate any type of condition or asset in your community and use that to measure progress over time. So this is a pretty important solution we found for many communities that are beginning to evaluate and develop social equity programs in their community. And this really provides a foundation for then the policy interventions or the changes you may make in your community. And so the social equity analysis solution, just to recap, really helps you evaluate those community conditions and actions to map those community assets and outcomes, and then measure progress over time. And that's a really critical aspect as you implement new policies and changes to the way you work to address these inequities in your community. So let me stop there and let me turn it over to Chris, and he's going to show you a few more of the solutions that we released in 2021. Chris, go ahead.
Okay. So publicly owned trees that line streets and dock parks are important assets and must be maintained like streets and sewers. These natural resources provide environmental, economic, and social benefits to a community. And the first and most important step to a local government to manage these urban forests is to create a tree inventory. Organizations cannot officially manage these urban forests and plan improvements unless they know how much or how many publicly owned trees they have and where they are. So to assist with this, we recently released the Tree Management Solution. This ArcGIS solution delivers a set of capabilities that help local governments inventory publicly owned trees, conduct routine inspections and maintenance activities, understand tree conditions, engage volunteers, and inform the public. So one of the components of the solution that I first want to start with is the tree field map. And this is a configuration of ArcGIS field maps that allows you to go out in the field and collect your trees. So I could be in the field and collect a tree on the map. I could also edit an existing tree. By poking on the map, I can view some of the details associated with that tree. I can see the attributes. I can scroll through and see the information associated with this white oak tree, for example. I can edit its details. I can also do inspection and maintenance activities. So via a related table, I have a set of inspections that I can view the details. I can add new inspections or view previously conducted inspections. And this can help me understand the condition of these assets, which might turn into maintenance activities down the road. Either they might need pruning, or the tree there are pests impacting the tree, and I might want to conduct some activities to remove or mitigate those pests to improve the quality of the tree. So this field map gives me the one stop out in the field to view my entire inventory of trees, add to the inventory, continue to update as we plant new trees, and conduct my inspection and maintenance activities. So next, let me go into another component of the solution, the Tree Management Center. This is an experience of Experience Builder, or is a configuration of Experience Builder that gives me insight into my tree inventory, the current conditions of all of my street trees, all of the inspection and maintenance activities associated with the tree. I can click on the Trees tab, and this is where I can view a dashboard, and I can see all of the tree information. This tree dashboard gives me information about all of the trees in my community. I can see all of the inspection history associated with the trees, all of my maintenance history as well. I can select an individual tree, and this will filter all the inspections and maintenance associated with that particular tree. So I can see all of the history of everything that I've done related to that street tree. I can also get a sense of the current condition of all of my assets. I can filter by condition, so I can find all of my fair or poor trees. And this could lead to a campaign where I might want to go out and address and see what I can do to improve the quality of those trees. I can also create work assignments associated with a particular tree. So if I want to go out and conduct an inspection, or have someone in the field go out and do some maintenance on a particular tree, I can create a work assignment right from that tree. And then using Workforce and the Dispatcher app, I can assign that to a field worker, and they can go out with their Field Maps app, conduct the inspection or the maintenance activity, and record the work that they've done. We also have insights into service requests. So service requests could either be generated from the public or internally inside the organization. So this is where we could solicit feedback from the public, i.e. they could report a downed limb or an issue with the tree, or while field staff are out in the field, they could also report or submit a service request that could lead to an inspection or maintenance activity. So I can view the details of this request. I can edit the status, indicate that it's been received or it's in progress. And then I can also, once it's resolved, I can update when it was resolved and add a resolution text. And from this service request, I can also create a work assignment, again, to trigger an inspection workflow or a maintenance activity that I want to conduct on this tree. The other big component of this solution is a public-facing site, our urban forest, that is our destination for the public to learn about our street trees and what we're doing to help keep them healthy and continue to improve the quality of our urban forest. So a member of the public can visit the site, and they can get some high-level information, some statistics about our street tree program. They can learn about the tree benefits. They can explore all the trees in the community. I'll come back to this app in a little bit. Here is a section where they can submit a service request. So if they've noticed a downed limb or another issue with the tree, they could submit that to the organization. We provide a way for engaged members of the community to volunteer to become stewards of the trees. And by becoming a steward, they can help assist the organization in watering, adding mulch, or providing and improving the quality of the soil by removing weeds and litter, and they can document that information. So these engaged volunteers are augmenting our workforce, allowing us to really focus on the big problems in the community, and they can assist in helping to keep our trees healthy. If we take a look at the tree viewer, this is a configuration of Experience Builder as well that allows members of the public to view all of the street trees in the community. they can click an individual tree and get more details about that tree. So I'll click here and it details. In this case, I have a white oak and I have its genus and species here. I have its height, the current condition of it. Here from the tree viewer, I could request service on this tree. So if I've discovered an issue, I could submit that service request. If I am a tree steward, I could also report any care activities that I provided. And the other big thing that we're doing in this tree viewer is we're integrating 2D and 3D. So no longer are we just worried about the assets in 2D space, we're providing a rich experience in 3D where I can also visualize those trees by genus and species and by height. So that's tree management. Next, I want to jump over to winter weather. When winter storms occur, local public works departments and state departments of transportation are the primary government agencies responsible for winter weather operations. Typically, they draft winter weather plans that outline service level agreements and maintenance responsibilities on their roadways. And adverse weather conditions have a major impact on the safety of roadways, and communities depend on efficient winter weather operations to keep roads safe and traffic flowing. As a result, state and local agencies spend more than $2.3 billion on snow and ice control operations annually. And to address these challenges, I'd like to introduce the winter weather solutions. These ArcGIS solutions deliver a set of capabilities that help public works departments, road commissions, and DOTs to develop winter weather response plans, monitor winter weather operations, respond to requests for service, and communicate progress during winter weather events to internal and external stakeholders. So two of the main components that come with the winter weather solutions is first the Winter Operations Center. And this is a configuration of experience builder that gives me insights into all things related to the operations associated with a winter weather event. So first, I can inventory my vehicles. So all of the vehicles that I have out conducting plowing activities or spreading material, I'm going to inventory those vehicles. I'm going to understand some of the capacity associated with those vehicles, how I'm going to track them in the field using their AVL, for example. And once I've inventoried my vehicles, now I can begin tracking them and ingesting them inside of ArcGIS. When a winter event is coming, I'm going to create a new winter weather event. And this is going to associate all the activity. And I'm going to capture during the event and after the event some information such as the total amount of snowfall, the type of winter weather event, and the duration of that event. During a winter weather event, I can use the active event dashboard to view real-time information about the event. So I can track vehicle location on the map. I can see each of my current vehicles, their speed, their direction, and this is all showing me their last known location. In the back end, I'm also updating my snow routes with information about when the last time a vehicle traveled down that road that was in service. And all of this is happening using ArcGIS Velocity. So the winter weather operations solution requires ArcGIS Velocity, and Velocity is what's tracking at near real time the location of the vehicle and is updating and performing the analytics to enrich my road segments with when they were last serviced. So for example, in the last 10 minutes, in the last half an hour, last hour, for example. And this gives me information about the percentage of my roadway that I've serviced during a winter event. So we can see during this winter event, I've had a vehicle that was in plow mode or was dropping material travel down 35% of my road segments. So this is giving me a sense of how effectively I am in responding to that winter event. I might do also things like filter by route priority or individual snow route. With the expectation during a winter event, I'm probably going to service my priority routes first and then move on to the secondary or tertiary routes as time permits. We also, through the winter weather outreach solution, provide a mechanism for organizations to promote or provide transparency into how they respond to winter weather events. So this can be the destination for the public to learn about what the organization is responsible for, some high-level metrics about what they've handled so far during the winter season, the amount of snow, the distance that their vehicles have traveled, and the amount of material that they've used. One of the main information products that we provide is a public view of that current road status. So this is providing transparency into which roads we've serviced within the last 10 minutes, last half an hour, or over 30 minutes. This gives me a sense to the community about how effectively we are in responding to that winter event. If I was looking to go out and travel, I might consult this map to see which roads have been plowed to get a better sense of which roads might be more passable than others. And this can help deflect call volume into the organization, people calling, asking when their plow or when their road is going to be plowed or when was their road plowed. I can self-service and I can come to this site to learn this information. Again, I can also request service. So if I've seen an issue or a concern that I have, for example, maybe my mailbox was hit by a plow, I could submit that request and submit it to the organization. And we also heard from a lot of organizations that really wanted to communicate what their plan is, so they make it really clear for a community. For example, these are the roads that we're responsible for. These are our priority routes, the routes that we're going to service first during a winter event. And here we're showing in the map those priority routes and secondary and tertiary routes. And during a winter event, they might also implement parking restrictions. So cars can't be out on the street during a winter event, so plows can service those roads. So this is a nice way to communicate that information out to the public so people understand what's going to be happening during a winter event. So that's a summary of the winter weather solutions. And now I'm going to turn it back over to Scott to complete the rest of the demos.
Okay. Thanks, Chris. That was a great overview of several of the new solutions we shipped, primarily focused on public works organizations and even DOTs that are responsible for major thoroughfares in the community. I want to wrap up the demonstrations and then close our presentation today with a final solution that's quite popular that we call address data management. And as many of you, if you're in local government, know that address authorities, they use subdivision plats, new condominium developments, and even permits and feedback from key stakeholders to manage authoritative address information or address repositories that they then syndicate with different stakeholders in the organization. Domestically here in the United States, we have a whole initiative called NextGen 911 that's really improving the quality of address information and how that address information then supports public safety workflows. So the address data management solution is really designed for those authorities, local governments or other entities that want to manage an authoritative inventory of addresses for a variety of needs, 911, permitting, billing, even assessment and taxation, and then continuously improve that information over time. And one of the critical things we do with this address data management solution is take what historically is tabular data, address information, and provide spatial context and provide physical locations that help me understand where site addresses are in my community and all of the other related information. So address data management, what you'll see, provides a couple key capabilities. One, it really streamlines the management of that information so you can quickly get that into your authoritative repository from the diverse data sets that you manage, and then continuously improve the quality of that data. The first aspect of the solution is the address data management project. And this is designed for mapping technicians in your organization that may be in the planning department or other aspects of your organization that need to take that record information and add it to your inventory of road center lines, valid road names, and even begin to build your site address and mailing address repository. So this allows you to take that authoritative information and quickly get it into ArcGIS and implement a series of standards that may exist, that may have been developed by your state to support NextGen 911, or even some of the common best practices that we see developed by the US Postal Service for mailing addresses and things like that. With that information in hand, you can then syndicate and share it with the Addressing ArcGIS Hub site. And this could be shared with the general public to educate them on how new addresses are assigned in your community. And you can even share your authoritative inventory of addresses with stakeholders so they can see if their address information is in the actual address repository that you manage. In addition to that hub site, it includes a very focused application. It's called the Master Address Locator that can be used to validate address information, to ensure that you have a lot of the site and unit information that sometimes eludes address authorities as they're building their address data sets from parcel and other information. And then if stakeholders do see something missing, they can request a new address. So the address request form is a simple way for the general public or maybe stakeholders in your community that are using your address information to request new addresses or even report potential errors they might find. They can simply complete the survey and submit it to the local addressing authority, and you can use that to begin to validate that information in your organization. Much like Chris showed with the tree management solution, as those address requests are coming in, you can assign the work to the appropriate stakeholders. So there's an ArcGIS workforce project that can be used by addressing staff to manage those requests that come in and assign that to field workers that may go out and validate that information. And with the final information product that's part of the address data management solution, the address field map can be used by those addressing staff to go out and validate that information to ensure that the missing address that was submitted by the public or another stakeholder is in fact correct. And while they're out in the field, they could even capture other information. So perhaps they visit a commercial development where you're missing some of the suite information. They can capture other suites that you may not have in your repository as well at the same time. So this last solution we showed you today, address data management, as I said, is really designed for those mapping technicians and others inside your organization that manage that authoritative address repository. And it takes a lot of the industry tradecraft and best practices that we've seen working with customers all across the country and builds it into the product so you can deploy a real efficient set of data management workflows to get that information from record drawings and other source information into ArcGIS as quickly as possible. And once you've developed that address repository, you can then use the other information products that come with the address data management solution to continuously improve that data and share that information with stakeholders as appropriate. So that was just a few of the new and improved solutions that we shipped in 2021. And I just want to kind of end today's webinar with a look at the roadmap we have planned for 2022. And I'm going to start with the near-term solutions we're working on. You can really expect to see these solutions coming in the first 6 to 9 months of 2022. And what you'll see kind of in big broad terms is that we're really focused on infrastructure and infrastructure management solutions, a whole series of solutions that are designed to help you build those authoritative repositories of asset information and begin to conduct asset condition assessments as well. We're also continually improving a lot of our public engagement solutions that are used to help kind of drive citizens as a sensor and other types of workflows where you enlist volunteers to kind of become a force multiplier in your O&M staff. You'll also see that we've been gathering a bunch of feedback on our existing election solutions, and you'll be seeing an update to our election solutions coming early in 22 to help you prepare for the 2022 midterm elections. And so with each of the releases, we'll be adding new capabilities to our ArcGIS solutions portfolio. Our next release will be sometime in late April, and then you'll probably see some additional solutions coming mid-year on or around our user conference. And as the year continues, you'll see we're continuing to invest in asset management solutions to support kind of key initiatives like curb management, conservation easement monitoring, and even other initiatives to kind of help you, do things like valve inspections and inspect other critical underground infrastructure in your community. And so as I mentioned earlier in the presentation, we like to think of this as a very participatory sport. So if you are interested in working with us on any of these solutions that we're developing or see other gaps in our solution portfolio, we'd love to hear from you during or after this webinar today. So Christian, before I turn it back over to you and let you just kind of take any questions we might have, I just want to leave you all with a few key takeaways today. Hopefully you saw ArcGIS includes a really rich set of solutions that you can leverage across many different business needs in your organization. Chris and I just showed you a few of the solutions that are available. If you go to solutions.arcgis.com, you can browse a comprehensive gallery of more than 150 different solutions that are available. And what you'll find is that those solutions leverage our modern deployment patterns and leverage the latest ArcGIS capabilities, so you can maximize that investment you're making in our software. And we develop these collaboratively with the community, with your peers, and you can use them to really help address some common business needs in your organization. And one of the things I'd really challenge you to explore is the fact that deploying these ArcGIS solutions has never been easier. You can literally go to the gallery of solutions that are available, click a simple button to deploy them, log into your ArcGIS organization, and it'll create all of the content Chris and I showed you today and just a few of the demonstrations of the ArcGIS solutions that are available to you. So there's very, very little risk in looking at these solutions and beginning to kind of see how they can add value to your organization. So with that, Christian, I'll just kind of close and turn it over to you to see if we have any questions that might have come in during the presentation.
Yeah, we did, Scott. Thank you, both Scott and Chris, for that. A couple of things that I may not have made clear at the beginning of the webinar. Number one, these solutions are free of charge. You don't have to buy these solutions. They come with the ArcGIS platform. So what's required on your end is just the appropriate licensing to deploy the solution. And the licensing that's required for each one is included in the support materials that's on the ArcGIS Solutions website that Scott just mentioned. So you need to have the software infrastructure to support the solutions, but the solutions are available to you as part of the broader ArcGIS ecosystem. This is a huge thing, actually. So that's the binary answer to that question, but it's, you know, what's so special to me about this is just the fact that, you know, when you invest in the ArcGIS platform, you're investing in more than just capabilities. And we have recognized over the years how important it is to help support your implementations and help you get the value out of the platform and GIS for your organization. And one way to do that is by providing, like, I don't mean to use the wrong terminology, but ready to use solutions. And you know, that's the impetus for what we're doing here, is to help you deploy the technology in areas that are meaningful for your organization. So that's that. So that's the ArcGIS Solutions thing. There were several questions about that. One of the other questions, Scott and Chris, that I'd like for you guys to just give your take on. So in addition to the README, like, what type of support do customers need? Like, you just touched on it, Scott. Like, it's never been easier. We have a number of these solutions that are SaaS only. All they require is ArcGIS Online and the named users that come with ArcGIS, or that are, you know, available through ArcGIS Online. Yep. And they can deploy the technology 100% SaaS environment. We know that those solutions are really easy to deploy. Or how would you just, like, what type of support is available, Scott, for users who need help?
That's a really good question. So I quickly showed that as you were talking about, you know, just browsing the gallery. But as you go into the solution site and you begin to discover a specific solution that you're interested in, you'll see that there's a whole host of documentation that's provided along with the solution that'll walk you through how to use the information products or maps and apps that are included in the solution, and ultimately how to configure some common workflows that we see people doing as they deploy the solution in your organization. So there's tons of documentation that goes with each of the solutions. We have regular monthly meetups where we dive into specific solutions, and you can ask questions in a much deeper way. And then when all else fails, you can contact Esri Support Services if you do get stuck deploying one of the solutions or you have a question, and you can, you know, just file a support incident that will be logged just like our other software products, and that information will come to us at some point, and we'll get back to you and help you through the challenges you may be having. So there's a broad kind of continuum of documentation and other types of support capabilities that are there to help you on your journey.
So another question is around maybe solutions that we don't currently have, but that our users are interested in. Is there a way for, like, how do our users jump into this ecosystem and decision-making process for what solutions we do?
Yeah, so we are very transparent with our roadmap, and so just yesterday, in fact, we published a blog post that shared that roadmap that I presented today. And you can connect with us through the ArcGIS Ideas site to share other ideas you might have for solutions that are not in our portfolio. So that information is that's a great way to share that information with us. And then generally we'll reach out directly to you and connect with you and discuss the ideas more and talk about how it fits into the plans we have for the portfolio. But that is really important to us, and we always connect directly with customers as we're building these solutions and get the feedback as we're developing them. So you can really actively participate and influence what's in the software and what's in the solution portfolio as you engage with us on those new offerings.
Yep. All right, thanks. And then I think one thing might be worth talking about a little bit is that a solution is comprised of multiple applications. That's one way to think about it, right? So a solution is comprised of multiple applications. So in a circumstance, there's a couple questions, Scott, about the snow operations solution that you showed. And then there's a component of it that requires velocity for like the AVL component.
Yep.
Is that required, or can they implement components of the snow operations solution and not have to do the AVL piece? Like, use that as sort of like the metaphor for like this broader concept. There's
Chris, do you want to talk a little bit about that, about the two winter weather solutions you showed there and how they can kind of incrementally be deployed?
Yep, so the two solutions are winter weather operations and winter weather outreach. The winter weather operations solution does require velocity. It uses velocity to track vehicles in real time and provide, near real time status about what roads they've plowed. The outreach solution doesn't require velocity. Organizations could deploy that without velocity, and they could have a public presence to talk about their snow response plans and what they do during a snow event. We also provide a tool to manually update roads. So a member in operations could select a road segment and update it when the driver radios in that they plowed the road. So there is a manual workflow, but to do the automated workflow, it does require velocity, and to do that automated analytics using the vehicle location, it's using velocity.
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, I think that's sort of a good encapsulation of the majority of the questions that we've received. Actually, there were some comments that were made in the questions section here as I'm observing it. I would just say I would encourage you, if you're not familiar with our solutions website, to go not for the support, but just to see the breadth of the total body of work that's been created. I would argue that it's the largest collection of curated GIS solutions on the planet. I mean, it's hundreds of applications that are aligned with the work that governments do. You can use these solutions, you can download them and implement them. You have access to the code, so you can extend them if you need to. And in some cases, if you have a strong or large development organization, you can use them as inspirational examples for like how GIS is actually used in government and at a broad scale. So it's an interesting sort of experience that you can have just going through that solution site and seeing what's available. But it's amazing, and I think that what we set out to build 10 years ago has more than come to fruition for us. And we're seeing it in widespread adoption, downloads, and engagement from the user community. A couple things that I obviously failed to mention at the kickoff of the webinar is that the session was recorded, so it'll be available next week. So you'll be able to share it or watch it again. But I'd like to say thank you for attending the webinar series. If you've come to multiple, and thank you for attending today's. It's our pleasure to get in front of you and share with you what we're doing, and I look forward to our next engagement. So keep your eyes peeled for our next webinar when we define that schedule. So we'll talk to you soon. Scott and Chris, any parting shots here?
No, thank you everyone for the time today. We really appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right, thank you folks.
Thank you everyone. Take care.